Hillary Clinton has now surpassed 65 million votes, and her lead over Donald Trump has grown to more than 2.5 million votes, according to the Cook Political Report. This afternoon, Green Party candidate Jill Stein filed a petition asking for a hand recount of the presidential vote in Michigan, along with her other recount efforts in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. Jill Stein cited outdated and unreliable machines and accusations of irregularities. Donald Trump won Michigan by less than 11,000 votes out of more than 4.7 million votes cast. Of course, there's no version of a recount that would win the presidency for Jill Stein. If a recount could change the outcome of the election, then Hillary Clinton would become president. Jill Stein has said there's no real difference between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton.
We are seeing a rise in right-wing extremism, not just in the United States, and it's not just Donald Trump, it's also throughout countries in Europe. What is driving this? It is policies like NAFTA, like globalization, like the dominance of the banks, like the Wall Street bailouts, like the Wall Street meltdown thanks to deregulation. Who gave us those policies? The Clintons were leading the way on those policies.
How would Donald Trump be as president?
The answer to neo-fascism is stopping neoliberalism. Putting another Clinton in the White House will fan the flames of this right-wing extremism. We have known that for a long time, ever since Nazi Germany.
Dr. Stein, what do you think of Donald Trump?
To Donald Trump and to stand up to Hillary Clinton.
Joining us now, Dr. Jill Stein, the 2016 presidential nominee for the Green Party. Dr. Stein, isn't your recount now, in effect, hoping to put another Clinton in the White House? And do you still see no difference between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump?
You know, in my view, there are differences, but that's not the question here. The purpose of the recount is not to help one candidate or to hurt the other. And in fact, we had identified 3 states when one of them did not have a declared winner, so it wasn't clear which way Michigan was going to go. And I always stated throughout the campaign that when I was asked whether I would stand up for a recount if there were doubts about the reliability and the accuracy of the vote, I always said, yes, I would do that. This is something that the Green Party has done before, that Green candidates have led the way on other recounts in Ohio in 2004. And I always said that if there was doubt about the confidence in the vote, that yes, I would stand up and call for a recount. It's not about helping one candidate. This is about helping voters restore our confidence in a voting system at a time that voter confidence in our elections, our political system, our social institutions across the board is kind of hitting rock bottom. And this is something really positive that we, the voters, can do. And in fact, people are chiming in from across the country, over 140,000 small donors contributing at an average of $45 apiece. In order to make this possible, we're standing up to say we want to be sure that this voting system is working for all of us.
It seems that your vote totals in the various states did not stop Hillary Clinton from winning the Electoral College. That the amounts, if you transferred all your votes to her, she still wouldn't win the Electoral College, especially because of the big difference in advantage that Donald Trump has in Pennsylvania at the current state of the count. But do you worry that your campaign and your campaigning, to the extent that it was campaigning against Hillary Clinton, depressed turnout that could have been for Hillary Clinton and then might have made a difference in those states?
So, Larry, I think it's really important to be clear that the solution to the problems in our democracy are not to silence opposition voices. At a time when the voters are saying they disliked and distrusted these candidates at record levels, when people are disavowing the Democratic and Republican parties at record levels, the solution here is to not suppress other choices. The solution is a voting system that doesn't divide our votes, that doesn't force you to vote against the person you hate the most instead of voting for the candidate who represents your values. The state of Maine just passed a system called ranked choice voting. It lets you rank your choices, and it gives you the assurance that you can bring your values into the voting booth, not just your fears, but your values. You rank your choices, knowing that if your first choice loses, your vote is automatically reassigned to your second choice. That's how we fix this. It's not by declaring that we have, say, 2 official state parties that you have to vote for. You know, if we have state-sanctioned parties and everybody else is disappeared, you know, how's that different from Iran or, say, Russia or countries where the political system is under tight control? We need an open system that has more voices and more choices.
Did you at any point in the campaign, when you looked at the Trump campaign, think this is the single worst candidate for president that this country has ever seen? This is a unique situation, and this might not be the year where third parties should make the kind of effort they might make in another year?
You know, unfortunately, Lawrence, when you look at what's been going on over the past many elections, you know, both parties have continued to march to the right. In many ways, the Democratic Party is where the Republican Party used to be not so long ago. And as a mother and as a medical doctor, I'm very concerned about where we're going on our jobs that are being exported, wages that are depressed, on a healthcare system where the costs are exploding, on a generation locked into debt. You know, we're not fixing this, not under Democrats and not under Republicans. In my view, we need a new system that is not bought and paid for by, you know, by the powerful few.
Jill Stein, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I appreciate it.
Good to be with you, Lawrence.
Coming up, if Donald Trump nominates Sarah Palin to run the Veterans Affairs Administration, which is the latest rumor about the Trump transition, she will face in her Senate confirmation hearings much harder questions than what newspapers do you read?